state your name and then where you're from, like what part you're from.
Okay, so yeah, I'm Chung Huang. I'm from Taiwan, and I live in Taipei, the capital city of Taiwan. Yeah, and I born and raised in Taipei. Yeah, so uh, yeah, for the lab, that's just like 40 something years. Yeah, only just like the only time I really just like not living in Taiwan is the time I spent in Connecticut from 2009 to early 2015. Yeah.
What caused you to go to Connecticut?
Oh, yeah, it's my advisor, Tim Byrne. Yeah, because Tim he's a professor in earth science in Connecticut in Yukon, and he have done a lot of research about the geology of Asia since just like 1987, 1986 something. Yeah, it's a long time ago. So when I was a sophomore or junior undergrad student in Taiwan, and the team had some just a field trip in Taiwan. So in that time, he wants some just like Taiwanese student to help him to become the helper in the field. So I was one of them. So I knew Tim since I was in college in undergrad. And then after I went to the grad school, I did my master's program in Taiwan as well. So in that time, Tim he had his sabbatical, so he become just like a visiting professor in Taiwan. So in that time, we have more just we know each other because I mean in that time he discussed our research together or something. Yeah. So after that I got my a master's degree in Taiwan, and I working as just like just a junior geologist in the Taiwan Geological Survey. And so in that time, that team, just like he said that he got a grant, the NSF grant, and then the grant topic is just like the earthquake, landslide, something about Taiwan, the mountain building processes in Taiwan. So he asked me, say, "Hey, Chung, do you want to come to the States and study for PhD?" And the good thing is because in that time, uh, we have the rent, yeah. So I don't need to pay my full tuition, which is awesome. And also, because I mean the topic is in Taiwan, so actually, all the just like the airfare, the flight ticket, we fly from the States to Taiwan. I don't need to pay because that is under the grant. So I said, oh, it's a good idea. Why not? Yeah, yeah. So that's why that I came to US. Yeah, with team and do some research. For the first 2 years, just like the as the grant is under the grant, yeah. But the rest of them, 3.5 years, because we don't have the grant, yeah. So I become a TA in Yukon, yeah. So I TA for just like the introgeo structure, and even just like Earth surface process, yeah. Some course that I TA, yeah. So that's why I study in Yukon, yeah.
That's a really interesting story. I didn't know you guys went all the way back to that time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Crazy. So my next question is, how do you compare studying in Taiwan, growing up in Taiwan, studying in
Hmm.
Connecticut, campus like UConn?
Okay, yeah. So well, just like in that time that when I was just like the undergrad student in Taiwan, that I think that the the college education system in Taiwan, they are more especially specific on just like the problem solving. Yes. So sometimes they just like when the professor teaching you, I mean, in the course or something, they just tell you that okay, so here's kind of problem and how you solve that. So either is you using uh, some your own skill. For example, just like okay, maybe you can have a program. You are very good at programming, so maybe you can write a code or something to solve a problem. It's really just like problem solving orientated. However, in the states, that I think that the way the higher education, the the method, I mean, or the mindset of the state is that not only the problem solving, but I mean, you have know just like what you are looking at, just like the because I mean, if we just talking about problem solving, it's just like a very single piece of every question that you answer that question or solve that single piece of problem. But in the states, that the all the professors or they ask you to have more just a comprehensive way to thinking, just like the it's not only the one problem, and this is something they kind of related to each other. Yeah, so sometimes that you cannot just like give the just like answer quickly in the the first time, because I mean we need to think about just like what is the relation with all the different topics or something, and then you have a more comprehensive way to solve everything. So I think that for the state and for Taiwan, that yeah, they just want you to different way to do things. So for example, in Taiwan, they want to you to have more precise and just focus on small things, and they want you to answer the question quickly, and just like the give the right answer. But I think that in states, that they want you to first to understand, just like the to see so why there is just like the problem, why what is the reason to cause this kind of the problem here, and then you solve the problem not only from the one aspect, yes, so you can solve the problem from different aspects, and then in the end, and then okay, so I need to find some, for example, some method or some expert to help me to solve those just like the problems. But because I mean you already in a higher place to oversee everything, yes, so it's more like comprehensive, and from but of course you need to think more, use your brain more, because I mean you need to think about different things. Yes, I think the difference between the Taiwan and the US, the higher education system, is the different way they teach you how to solve the problem, the different way they teach you how to think.
So it's really big in Taiwan to like get straight to the point and no like backtrack.
Yeah, just straight to the point. This is the education system they want to teach us. Yeah, exactly.
That's very interesting. My next follow up question would be: would you move to the United States and like live there again, or would you just visit?
Oh, well, actually, for me, I just like visits because, for of course, just like a family, all my family is here. And then a second thing is living in states actually is comfortable for me. However, is living in the states is just like a lot of things I need to just like the establish just like from zero. You see a lot of just like immigrant families, yeah, just like their parents or their grandparents from their home country and to the states, and just like they starting everything from literally from zero, from nothing. I'm kind of a lazy guy, yeah. So yes, I mean, just like okay, so here in Taiwan, that at least just like all my family's here, and just like the uh, and my of course just like my career, because I mean since because my case is kind of spatial compared to the other of my friends or colleagues, yeah, because all my other geology friends, when they study PhD in the States, actually they do some research about the just like the geology of the U.S. or some principal things for geology. So it's really not related to the geographically related, or just like they are doing something in the States. But for me, because my research topic when I was a PhD grad student in the Yukon, my research area, study area, research topic are really related to Taiwan. So everything of my PhD dissertation is about Taiwan. So I mean, for that 5.5 years, and when I'm in States, actually, all my connection, all my so everything, the data, everything is Taiwan related. So actually, in that time, I did think about if I stay in the U.S. and I want to continue my career in geology, I still need to just like fly back to Taiwan a lot and get the data there, and actually there will be a little bit tough for just like the people who just got the PhD degree starting their career, because I mean every PhDs, they when they start in their career, they don't have such just like budget to support the person to do a lot of the international traveling or something. Yeah, so that time I think that if I want to stay in the U.S., so that means I probably need to find a new research topic. Yeah, not related to Taiwan, because I mean if I really rely on all the research, just like the material of Taiwan, I need to go back to Taiwan a lot, and then they spend a lot of money traveling or something. Yes, so I think the best way if I want to keep my Taiwanese research is I go to Taiwan, and then the others, just like team, they go to Taiwan and meet me there. Yeah, yeah. So in that time, I just made my decision. Say, okay, so that back to Taiwan and just like doing research for a couple of years, and let's see what happened. And then just by happen that the my company, Taiwan Power Company, they recruit some geologists to do the renewable energy, to do the carbon storage something. Yeah, so I kind of a little bit divert my career path from pure academic to a little bit just like apply, on those just like energy related research. Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty interesting trajectory. How did you get to that point of knowing you want to do geology and working with Taipower?
Oh, well, okay. So there's two things. Just working on the thing on geology. Actually, is since when I was in high school. So, yeah, you went to those Earth night September 21st museum, 921 museums. Yeah. So during the earthquake, I was that was my second year. Yeah. So it's my sophomore year in college. Oh, sorry, high school. Sophomore year. This is high school. Yeah. I'm old. Yeah, I'm old. Yeah, so that night actually is it's really until now I still remember the so this was in 1:47 a.m. Yeah, so in that time, yeah, I lived with my parents. Of course, high school kids live with their parents, and so in my home, that my bed is just next. So my bed is just next to a wall. So my bed just, and then just in the middle of the night, I feel somebody is pushing me, feel
Yeah.
like somebody waking me up. Yeah, so I think, oh, dad, mom, what are doing? Wow. And then I just realized, no, it was an earthquake. So the earthquake is the shaking is big enough to let me to just like hit against the wall.
No, that's crazy.
Yeah,
No.
and we are in Taipei. I mean, we are not in central Taiwan. The area you saw all the collapse, just high school and the thing, right? That was in central Taiwan, but actually in Taipei, the shaking is really intense. Yes, so after the earthquake, and of course, just like for a high school kid, it's a really shock thing. This what earthquake can become that kind of damage to all the society or something. So in that time, I think that I want to be a geologist. Yeah, because actually in that time, a lot of people in my age in that time, some people want to be a geologist, some people want to be just like a civil engineer because they want to build a more stronger house or bridge or something, and some people want to be just like a firefighter or first responder or something, because actually that really influenced that generation in
Yeah.
my age. Yeah, yeah, so that's why I want to choose geology as my major. Yeah, so that's one thing. And then after a couple of years, I went to National Taiwan University, got my undergrad and my master's degree, and working in the Taiwan Geological Survey. So my career path is really just like the really geology.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then just like after I got my PhD and back to Taiwan, and in that actually I became just like the researcher in NTU as just like there's a position that calls a postdoctoral research fellow. Yeah, so
Mhm.
there's a kind of position in the university. So people who have their PhD degree already, but it's not a real professor yet. So they hire you as a researcher. So I did my research in NTU for about a year and a half, and then in that time, yeah, I did apply to some university or something. But in that time, actually, because there are not many just like the open position for a structural geologist in that time, because there are not many just universities have
Yeah.
this the Department of Earth Science or Department of Geology. Yeah, so so like it's difficult for me in that time to find a teaching job. Yeah, so if I want to become a professor in that time, that means that I need to wait maybe another 2, 3 years as this kind of the researcher. But however, those researchers actually they are by contract. Yeah, so just like if you have the project and then you have money, if you have no project and then you need to find the money, and then yeah, and then your life will be tough because I mean you need to find some government agency to sponsor you to do some research. Yeah, so in that time that the Taiwan Power Company they are recruiting some researchers who can do renewable energy and do the carbon storage. Yeah, because that was in 2015. In that time, that just like the those topics, especially just like the carbon storage and the geothermal energy, is just like it's very new in Taiwan. So the Taiwan Power Company actually in that time they don't have the people who understand those kind of the technology. Also, they want to directly hire somebody who is background is earth science and geology to become a researcher. Yes, so just like so I went through all the the interface interview or something and then got the job. So that's how I switch from pure just like academy path to become a professor, like where they into just like a researcher. But still, that after I went to Taipower, become a researcher because I mean the the, 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 the the units or department I working in is the institute, the research institute of the Taiwan Power Company. So we do still just collaborate with some local universities or some other research just agencies. Yeah, so that's why that in our institute actually the policies they encourage people to teach to become adjunct professors in the other universities. Yeah, yeah. So actually, I'm also adjunct professor in the the Taiwan Normal University and also
Wow.
the NTU. Yeah, so yeah, so although I'm not a real just like the full-time
Yeah.
professor teaching in university, but now as an adjunct professor, I also teaching. For example, in the fall semester, I teach with other professors together. We teach the structure geology. So that's a core course for that department of geosciences in NTU. But I'm the field trip leader. Yeah, so I don't need to just like teach every week. Just I only appear, be there during the field trip. And then for the normal university, I teach renewable geology, introduction to a new renewable geology in the spring semester. Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, so it's still good as just a HR professor. I mean, you can teach, you can learn things from students. It's really important. And in the same time, I can just still do my research in the power company, which is cool. Yeah. So right now, this kind of the lifestyle, I think is
Yeah.
good for me. I'm happy about that. Yeah.
That's really interesting. I didn't know you was a professor as well. And
Yeah. Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
yeah, and then this leads to my next question. So I was actually taking a sustainable resource course this semester, and we was talking about how Trump took away certain agreements in certain areas, and how different areas is better than America with their sustainability. And I was wondering, how would you implement improvements to different areas in Taiwan with sustainability, such as you said, renewable energy and geothermal? And is your company on any big projects as well?
Yeah, so sustainable actually, well, I think the whole thing, the driven force to this kind of sustainable energy, uh, right now actually is all about economic, so international trading. Yeah, because back to about 10 years ago, in that time, yeah, of course, Europe, they are, it's always really just like focus on the environment friendly or just a low carbon something. But in that time, that Europe, they don't have really a very strong regulation or something to force everybody to become more environment friendly. However, since just like 2 3 years ago, so the European Union, they starting to make some new just regulations or just like a tax regulation something. So I don't know if you ever heard that the CBAM, carbon boundary something. So this is a European Union. They design a spatial just like method to ask people, the other countries, if they want to sell the product to the European Union, and then buy all the product, and then the carbon footprint of the product need to be lower than some certain just a level. So the carbon footprint is, for example, in Taiwan, that if you using 1 kilowatt hour of electric power, you produce about half kilogram of carbon dioxide. Okay, so that's carbon foot. So that's the carbon emission intensity. And so, for example, if I make something, for example, today, okay, so if this is a watch, okay, so if I make this watch and then they spend about 10 kilowatt hour of electricity, so that
Hmm.
means for this watch, there is 5 kilograms of those carbon dioxide of making this watch, right? Because I mean, if you are using the fossil fuel thermal power, and then
Hmm.
every kilowatt hour of electricity you produce carbon dioxide. Yeah. So for the European Union, so they have some standard. So for example, if we want to sell the product, they have for example, if we want to sell them some steel, the raw material steel. So maybe they will have some standards. Okay, so 1 metric ton of steel, you can only produce maybe just like the 0.3 metric tons of CO2. If when you produce, you're making the steel, and then your CO2 emission is higher than zero point 0.3 metric tons of CO2, and then you need to pay the money which is over the standard they set. Yeah. Yeah, so the European Union, they use this kind of method to ask all the other countries who want to sell the product to the Europe, say, hey, you need to lower your CO2 emission of all the products. Yeah. So for Taiwan, that that here in Taiwan we sell all the semiconductor, just like ICs, computer, cell phone, this kind of stuff. Yeah. But
Yeah.
now the thing is in Taiwan that remember that we have about 90%, almost just a 90% of electric power, the electricity is come from fossil fuel. So that means that if the factories in Taiwan, they make some products, yeah, so they have a higher, we call it carbon footprint compared to, for example, to Japan, compared to Canada, yeah. So now in Taiwan, that actually just like sustainable or this kind of environment friendly act, or just like environment actually friendly things, actually it's not because we want to become more environment friendly, and it's because if we continue to use in this kind of just like fossil fuel thermal power, and then all the products we produce here in Taiwan will have higher carbon footprints. So that means if we want to sell those products to Europe, and then they will charge us more, just like tax. Yeah. So if we want to make our product have more, it's more competitive by
Yeah.
price in the Europe. That means that we need to use more, just like we call it clean electricity. So they could be just like renewable. So renewable including wind, solar, and geothermal. And we need more just like hydropower, and even just like right now, although it's nuclear power in Taiwan is phased out, but people still think about, oh, maybe just like a couple of years later there will be the advanced the new nuclear power technology, so we can reduce the risk of nuclear power. So those we call the clean electricity, or the zero carbon electricity, become very important to Taiwan. And because of those, just like the zero carbon electricity is really related to the green power, sustainable something. So in Taiwan, that mm, the government, they pushing everybody become more sustainable. Actually, it's not only because not only the environment friendly, because not only we love the earth, so we need to do something good. And actually,
Yeah.
because of that, if we just keeping the old way to produce all our products, and using the old way to produce our electricity, and then that will be a problem in the future if we do the international trading, because I mean Europe Union, they already set up this kind of very high standard of the carbon footprint. However, in the States, now it's different. Yeah. So, frankly speaking, the Trump administration,
Mhm.
we don't think he will set this kind of the standard of the ask you to lower your carbon footprint to a certain level. The couple reasons is, first, actually, that in the States, that it's not really rely on the international trading with the European Union. Yeah, so it's like, I mean, the States, I mean, you make your own product and domestically, and then just a customer can buy the products there. So you have a very big, just like the market in the States. Yeah, so just like it's different from Taiwan. Taiwan, I mean, not although, yeah, we will have the people. The number of people is just like the about same about Florida, but I mean, just like the yeah, yeah, you can check. We have about almost 24 million people living in Taiwan. Yeah, 24 million. That's a lot. Yeah, such a
That's a
small
lot.
place, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but I mean, just like even we have 24 million people in Taiwan, but just like the market-wise, that is not enough to support. Just like you make your own domestic product, and then your own people can just buy those old everything. Yeah, but in the States it's different. In the States, I mean, U.S. have a big enough market. The people, the number of the amount of people is big enough to just like to buy all the products or something. Yeah, so even just like the states have don't want to doing business with European Union because of the carbon footprint thing. I mean, still that still work, but they cannot work in Taiwan, because I mean, if Taiwan says, oh, we don't want to follow the European Union's role, and
Mhm.
then we still have very high carbon footprint in our products, then that will make our product in Europe become less competitive. Yeah, because I mean, all the products, Taiwanese product, will be higher price, because I mean, when we export that product to the Europe, then Europe will charge us the carbon tax first. Yeah, so just like costs of the product become higher, because we need to add the carbon cost. Yeah, so for the states, that it's really rely on the fact that, if, for example, just like some companies, for example, Apple, or just like Tesla, this kind of the huge companies sell a lot of products, or just like Nvidia. Yeah, so if those companies, they want their just like the supplier, because I mean, for example, Apple, when they make phones, yeah, although the the iPhone assembly factory is not in the States, the iPhone assembly factories in just like in Asia, or in just like Mexico, the other countries. But actually, just like those companies, just like Apple, Tesla, or Nvidia, I mean, they can ask their just a material provider, say, okay, so I want this material, for example, this steel or plastic. We want that material have a lower carbon footprint. Yeah, so they can make my products is more less carbon footprint and a more environment friendly or more sustainable or something. Actually, this is ongoing thing because, for example, Apple. Um, they make iPhones, right? And so they sell iPhone, and the factories who makes iPhones are in just like Asia. One of my friend, he's in a company in Taiwan. They make the case, the steel case of iPhone. Remember, iPhone is we have an iPhone, and then the glass is on the top, and then we have the rest of them actually is metal. It's metal. Yeah. So Apple asked those factories, say, when you make those, just like the case, the metal case, and we want you to use less water, and we want to recycle all the just like thing that, because I mean when they make the case and then for because they will grind or something, so they will have some metal powder or something, and Apple want they to recover, reuse, recycle those wastes and become the material for the next iPhone, because I mean they can save some material, it's more environment friendly. So actually, those factories in China or in Mexico, or something, are really working hard to reach the standard which Apple gives to them. So right now,
Wow.
is from the U.S. The government. I don't think the government will set just like a higher standard or something. However, for those companies who still need to sell the products to Europe, or the companies they want to keep their image of their company. Yeah, I mean, frankly speaking, the company they cannot say, "Oh no, we are not an environment friendly company." That's no good for the public image for a company, right? Yeah, so
Mhm.
those some the companies they want to they still keep their public image, and they want to be more just like environment friendly or more sustainable. They will ask their just like the providers to provide them very just like the environment friendly or the low carbon footprint material. So I think that in the coming couple of years that maybe from the government side of the U.S. they will become less conservative about the environment. Yeah, maybe they won't put a lot of budget or money be- in the supporting the sustainable or just like the environment or something. However, that for those companies that sell the products to the other countries, they will keeping this kind of the strategy is they want their product have lower carbon footprint. They want their products more sustainable, or even that maybe because right now become the Trump administration, so maybe the European countries, the European Union, they will mm, enhance their policy on this kind of the sustainable something. So they force those U.S. companies make their product become more and more just like the environment friendly or sustainable. Yeah. So that's what I think about. Yeah.
That's very interesting. I didn't know it was a big process such as that, and it's different for everybody. Nobody's so interesting. So my last
Mhm.
question, I remember you said you did field trips as a adjunct professor. Would you do a study abroad field trip such as this in Taiwan? And if it wasn't in Taiwan, where would you do it, and how would you do it?
Oh, you mean the bring a Taiwanese student to the States or bring
Yeah,
more? Okay.
or students from the states to Taiwan or to a different country.
Yeah. So well, actually, that um, so Yukon field trip actually is not the first just like international field trip to bring students to Taiwan.
Hmm.
Actually, that during 2002 to 2000, about I think it's 2009 or 2010. You know the Caltech, the California Institute of Technology, Caltech. They ran not exactly the same but similar. So they were the pioneer to do this kind of stuff. So the Caltech field trip is they they are not doing this kind of the around the Taiwan field trip. they focus on several certain places. So for example, the first field trip was in 2001.
Mm,
Sorry, 2002. I didn't join that field trip, but some of my friends went to the field trip with the Caltech students. So they stay in Taidong. So you remember the place they have the prehistorical museum, that area.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm,
So they stay there and living in just one hotel, and they just stay there and do the field mapping for that area for 5 or 6 days. Just stay there and then mapping to do all the geological mapping to get
cool.
some orientation, strike and deep or something. Yeah. So the Caltech field trip, they had four times of the Caltech field trips. Yeah. And so after the Caltech field trip, and then Penn State in Pennsylvania, yeah, Penn State University, they want to do the similar thing. However, is just like in that time, the Penn State students, they are not really, you want to have a group of students to the internet to foreign countries, and of course you need a lot of students sign up for this course.
Yeah.
So Penn State, when they did the first one, I think they have maybe 5 or 6 students. But when they want to do the second one, and then no student to sign up for that course, I have no idea
Yeah.
why. Yeah. So for Penn State, they only done that once. Yeah,
Mm,
and then is some university in French. Yeah,
mm,
so France, so some French university. So they came to Taiwan, but this is not around by one university. So several French universities. I mean, so they have group, maybe just a group of maybe 10, 20 students. So they came to Taiwan. So for the Taiwan side is the Taiwanese universities. They also just host those French students. But the French field trip is, I think it's only just around maybe 2 3 times. Yeah, because the way is just the French universities, they came to Taiwan every other year, and the Taiwanese university they go to France, yeah, also every. So one year French people come to Taiwan, and the next year Taiwanese people go to France. Like this, yeah. But I think that's around for maybe 4 or 5 years, and then just stopped. Because I mean it's really first is just like budget wise is not cheap. Yeah, you know that it's not easy. So for student you need to get some support or scholarship or something. Yeah,
mhm,
and the second thing is actually is the it's all before pandemic. Yeah, so before pandemic is everything, but after pandemic is especially since 2020 to 2022, that period of time that not many universities want to continue because there's some risk or just become it's not very simple to do everything. Mm, and so actually for Tim, oh, he's really just good. Yeah, because he's keeping bring students to Taiwan, and except that 2021 that time was because pandemic is cancelled, but rest of the field trip is yeah. So every time we have at least just like I think at least 5 or 6 students to Taiwan, yeah, to do the field work.
gosh.
Sorry, and but in other way, bring the Taiwanese student to the other countries. Well, actually, that for bring Taiwanese student to Japan for field work or
Yeah.
to Philippines for field work. Those universities in Taiwan have done that. It's quite often because I mean from Taiwan fly to Japan, the closest is southern part of Japan. You only takes about 2 hours flight.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah, it's very close. Yeah,
yeah.
or even closer is from Taiwan to an island of Japan. It's called Okinawa. Okinawa
Mm,
Island is kind of the Hawaii of Japan. It's tropical, it's south, yeah, beach. Also, they got a lot of geology there. From Taipei, so there is a direct flight from the Taipei domestic airport. And then, there's an airport inside Taipei. It's not the one you flew in there. So from that city airport in Taipei, and then you can fly to just Japan. It's only take just like 1.5 hours or something. Yeah, so it's really close from Taiwan to Japan. Yeah, so so from a Taiwan student to do the fieldwork in Japan or in just like the Philippines or something is really common. Even when I was an undergrad student, but it's not happen every year, of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
but for bring a Taiwanese student to the U.S. and to do the fieldwork is not that common. As far as I remember, it only happened once in 2005 or 2020 or 5 or 24, about 20 years ago. Yeah, so it only happened once. Yeah, one of the reason actually is because like the the ticket, the airfare, the flight ticket. It's funny because from the state fly to Taiwan, even in the same just like the airlines, so the price is cheaper when you fly from the states to Taiwan. You know, round trip. So if you buy the round trip from the states, so U.S. Taiwan U.S. this kind of round trip is cheaper than Taiwan U.S. Taiwan. If you yeah,
Wow.
because yeah. So just like the airfare is one of the issue. Yeah, and then the other thing actually is just like the logistics in the state and the logistics in Taiwan is different. So for example, if we want to arrange a field trip, have the just like the in the states that for example, if you want to do field work in some remote area, usually that we need to rent your van or something. Yeah, and then maybe it's not very easy to find just like the hotel, so maybe you need to camp. Yeah, or there's some just like the lodge or cabin or something. Yeah, but at least you need to bring your own sleeping bag or something.
Yeah.
But in the yeah, but I mean in Taiwan, if you arrange a field work, I mean you guys basically stay in the hotel, a real hotel every day, right? And the price is not that bad. I mean, just and also the transportation is I mean just we have a charter bus with us just like every day. Yeah, so arrange this kind of just like teaching orientated field trip is much easier than arrange just say the field trip in the states. So for example, in Yukon, when I was TA for structural geology back
Mhm.
to 2013 or 2012 or 2013,
Wow.
yeah, so we just drive our own car. Yeah, of course, we just like we rent a car. Yeah, the bigger van. But I mean, for me, I just drove my own car, and we all the way drove to Vermont. Yeah, because there's just like the places we can see the rock outcrop there. But for two, we stay there for 2 nights, but we stay in the just like the camping ground. Yeah, so the state forest with the camping ground or something. Yeah, but it's fun for students. But I mean, just say if you want to bring a group of international students, and then for those international students, maybe they don't have this kind of experience to just camping outside or something, and so it's become a little bit just like the not difficult, but just like you need to be more prepared. Yeah.
That's very
So
true.
bring student, yeah. So bring student especially just a Taiwanese student to the states to do fieldwork. We do need to have very just like a comprehensive preparation before the field trip. Yeah, and also they rely on those professors in the states. Yeah, because I mean, just like a Taiwanese professor, it's really hard for a Taiwanese professor to do everything online or making some international phone call something to make sure everything is all settled there. So need some local professors to help them.
Mhm.
However, just like the Taiwan field trip this time, um, because actually that in Taiwan that the bus driver is key person. The guy, remember the bus driver? So actually, he's not. So okay. So for the past just like 20, 30 something years, so uh, he's not the only bus driver who can do this kind, who can drive and who can do this kind of geology field trip bus driver. So when I was an undergrad student in that time, there was another bus driver. So he knows just like if you tell him say, oh, we want to go to someplace to see some rock outcrops. So those drivers, I mean, in their head, they already know the map. I mean, even before the Google Map, because that was in 2002, 2003. So even before Google Maps. So in his head, he already know just okay. So if we go to one outcrop and then if the groups spend maybe just like 1.5 hours, and then he directly immediately he can think okay, so where is the closest just like the restaurant, or where's the place we can get the lunchbox, and then just like for the next stop, maybe the professor tell the bus driver say, okay, so first stop is some outcrop, and the next outcrop is another places. Those bus drivers, they're really good at just like making a plan in their head. Yeah.
Oh,
So
dang.
that is really rely on experience, right? So
Yeah.
if you just like find a rented bus driver, you tell the bus driver say, hey, we want to go to see some outcrop or some place, and then those rented bus drivers say, what? Well, I never heard that place before, or just oh well, the student they will go to field, and when they come back to the bus, their boots they will be very dirty. They will make my carpet of my bus become very dirty or something. Yes, so actually that there are several couple bus drivers in Taiwan. They help those university run this kind of geology field trip. Yeah, so when I was undergrad student, there was a bus driver, and then after he retired, there was a second generation, and then actually this guy is the third generation.
No
Yeah.
way. That's funny. That is funny.
Yes,
Wow.
yeah. So actually, that in Taiwan, that if you want to bring some student to do a field, either Taiwanese student or your international student, U.S. student, it doesn't matter. Just tell the bus driver say what the schedule looks like and what places outcrops we want to check, we want to see, and actually the bus driver not only arrange the just and the meal and the route, and also just like even for the hotel they're going to stay, he will make some suggestions. So actually for this time is after Tim, he make the itinerary. He sent
Yeah.
that to Bruce. Remember the professor with us have dinner with Bruce. So he sent the itinerary to Bruce, and then Bruce sent the itinerary to the bus driver. The bus driver will list some of the, for example, the hotels he suggests that you can stay, of course, with a different price, a different budget. And then Bruce make some decision. Bruce talk with Tim about, okay, so Tim, so the bus driver suggests us that to stay in those hotels or something, blah blah blah, and then team made the final decision, and then bus driver just know the team's final decision, and then the bus driver made the reservation for all the hotels. Yeah, so actually they save a lot of time from team. Yeah, because I mean he don't really need to check every detail thing, because the bus driver and Bruce then they handle just like the 60-70% of the duty of the logistic preparation. Yeah,
Wow.
so run this kind of field trip in Taiwan is much easier than run this kind of field trip in the States. So actually that in March there will be another group of students from Utah, the Utah University from Salt Lake City. They will do a smaller scale, not smaller scale, but they. I don't think they will just make a just like island-wide trip around the island. I think they only will stay in northern Taiwan and eastern Taiwan.
Hmm.
Yeah, so for the Utah University, they also hired a same bus driver because
Fire.
it's easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So he's just a part of the whole journey every single time. That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah,
I did not.
yeah,
I didn't know he was in the background too with the hotels and stuff. That's funny.
yeah,
That's very
yeah,
funny.
exactly. Yeah. Hmm.
Thank you, Chung, for taking
Yeah,
your
no
time out
problem.
of the day and
Yeah, thank you.
thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So I
Okay.
finished the record. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
One last thing.
Okay.
I remember you had like found like grants to
Yeah.
study abroad in Connecticut. Do you know where I could find something like that for me?
Oh, find a grant in Connecticut. Actually, first you need to. The easiest way is to asking professors. Yeah. So if you want to do a graduate study, yeah, go to grad school. And first is if you know what kind of the field you want to go. So you you can just Google all the professors in their publication or Google their CV, and then you can find a professor who you might interested in study with the professor, and then the most straightforward way is to just email the professor and ask the professor, say, okay, so I'm interested in your research and I'm planning to study in grad school, so any chance for me to get a grant or something, because there are different kind of grant. The first is just a research grant, is you working with a professor and kind of become the professor's research assistant. Yeah,
Mm,
so just like the first couple of years when I was in Connecticut, is team he wants some field helper and a Taiwanese student who can understand the geology of Taiwan to work with him to finish that project. Yeah, so the research assistant is you work with a professor with very very specific project, because that project is where your grant is come from.
yeah,
And then the another thing, kind of not benefit, but some people will say it's a good thing, is if you are a research assistant, full-time research assistant, you don't need to do the teaching. You don't need to TA. Yeah, yeah. So for me, my first 2 years in Connecticut, I didn't TA. The other kind of grant actually is the teaching assistant TA ship. Yeah, so some usually is some universities. For example, you took the intro geo in UConn, right?
no, so I'm not even a geology major. I took
Oh,
like
I know
earth.
you are not. Yeah, I know you are not. But okay, so for the intro geo is so the course itself is they teach that in a bigger, just like the just like the Ahona or just like a L'Oreal. I don't know if that's still called L'Oreal Hole. Yeah, Ahona is still called Ahona, right? Yeah,
I think so yeah, thanks so much.
yeah. Yeah, so just those bigger, just like a classroom that can fit maybe just 120, 150 students. Yeah,
Yeah,
so the course itself is teaching in that kind of yeah, the bigger classroom. But I mean the lab, yeah, they break down. For example, the intro geo, we have 20 to 25 students in a lab, so each lab is led by one TA. Yes, so the TA, just like teaching the lab, and in that time that we teach two labs per week. Yeah, but I mean, for teaching that you need to just like prepare for the teaching material, you need
yeah,
to grading, and you need to have office hours. So actually, teaching, just like if teaching, so 3 hours. So just like the 3 hours of teaching in that time for me, every week I spend about 12 to 15 hours to prepare the material and the grading, teaching, and then it's office hour.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, 12 to 15 hours. So it's about just like 2 full days, right? Because I mean, one. Yeah. So be a TA. The good thing is first you can have the tuition waive, and then you get the salary stipend from the universities, and you can uh, interact with students. Some people like that. Some people don't like that. But for me, I like that. And for me, as an international student, TA can also improve my English skill. Yeah,
yeah,
actually, just like so, sometimes some students they have all the excuse to why they skipped the class, why they didn't hang in the homework or something, and then they have a whole bunch of the excuse. And as a TA, I mean, for the fairness of all the students in the class, I cannot say, "Oh, you have excuse also, so you're good." And so we need to explain to students why you cannot do this, why you can only get, for example, why can you only get a B minus and the other kids get A or something. But in that time, actually, there are some students they think, oh, Chung is the is an international grad student, so
Yeah.
sometimes they usually just might talk a lot, and then they thought that I cannot handle all the conversation, and I was okay, yes, you're good, you're good. No, 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 no. So when I was TA, I really just like improve my English a lot, especially just bargain with students to tell them why you cannot get a higher grade because of blah blah blah. Yeah. And
Explore.
so yeah, so be a TA. Yeah, so that's kind of good side and bad side for be a TA. But I mean, when you are a TA, that means your time for research is less. Yeah, because when you have more time to do a TA duty, your research time become less and less. Yeah, so some international student or they don't want to be a TA because I mean, frankly speaking, that language skill is real something that can be a barrier for a TA become a good TA or just like a normal TA, especially when you're facing a lot of the students, they have some different kind of the question and asking you if your English skill is not a very good, yeah, and then become a you can become very tired for international student to be a TA. Yeah, I don't think if you ever meet that kind of TA, I mean, when they talk, you don't even understand what they are talking about, and then just that kind of TA. Yeah.
Yeah.
So but I mean, as just like the American student, grad student be a TA is less stressful than an international student because I mean, you know all the, just you think everything you know what is be a student. So actually that I know that some of the university they are more willing to recruit or accept American students as their grad students because they think, oh, those American students can become TA.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, just like when you just like the you just have to ask those professors, yeah. So if you think you can be a TA, is if you think it's okay, and you can also mention that in the email. Say, oh yeah, so if you don't have a grant, but I really want to work with you, I can also become a TA. Or what kind of course I can teach. Yeah, so those professors will be interested in this kind of student who say, oh, I volunteer to can be a TA. Yeah, because I mean usually the international student first is just the language, and the second thing is the professors they don't know if the students just like for me when I learned the structural geology and then some field geology those in Taiwan, and then I TA for structural geology in the States. I mean because Ting knew me when I was a student in Taiwan, so he knew what I know. But however, if I work with another professor who the professor don't really understand, who doesn't know me, so he didn't know that what is the training I've been trained. Yeah, right. But just like if American student, although it's in a different university, but those professors in the states they will understand. Oh yeah, so the student when they the grad student when the student took those course in the other university in the states, those professors they kind of understand in their mind itself. They know what the grad student should understand. Yeah, so it's easier for the professors to recruit students. Say, okay, so you can TA for this course or for that course because the professor already know that what is your knowledge, the level, where your knowledge level is. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so you can try to email to reach out. Yeah, some professors they will be very happy to accept American grad student. Yes, really. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Mm. Okay,
Thank you so
thanks.
much, Chung, again for accepting my interview request, and thank you for all the information you gave me as well. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Okay, thank you too. Hope you enjoy the rest of the day. Have a nice weekend. Thank you.